بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم my beloved ones ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we are going to take today another section of Tawaf in the Q&A in the annex of Manasik al-Hajj of Ayatollah al-Uzma Sayyid Ali Sistani Damadullah. Yes, and the chapter is called اشتراط ستر العورة. اشتراط ستر العورة في الصلاة. The condition of covering the privates. Now remember, the privates for the guy is different than the privates for the woman. That means covering the body. Instead of saying private parts, let's say covering the body. The condition of covering the body for women, it is the entire body except for the face and the hands, and for the guy, it is from the navel to knee, and that's and there are precautionary measures here and there in this covering the part for the male. You see, some they're considered private parts only, some they considered like between navel to the knee, and we already discussed this these rulings there in the chapter of the main theme of the covering covering of the body during the tawaf. So still we are in the Q&A sessions of the tawaf. So we that's why we are like we are a bit slow in tawaf because there's so many masail. Once we are done with the tawaf, then inshallah we'll have a smooth way to the end of manasik al-hajj, because tawaf is all about hajj. So let's see question number one. Okay, so remember, from the navel to the knee, so is the navel, is the belly button required to be covered or not? Okay, so when they say navel to the knee, like the belly button is it should be covered or no? You can start from below of the belly button. So is it obligatory for a person who's in the state of ihram? Obviously a male person, because muhrim, not muhrima, a male muhrim, to cover the belly button or the navel port during the performance of manasik al-hajj. He says no, it's not obligatory. Okay, and then this ruling number two is one of those whoopsie daisy kind of situation where a person is performing the tawaf, and it happens many times, and we have seen this happening with other people when they go into the crowd of Hajj al-Aswad, and there's beating and this and that and tightness, and the guy is coming out and whoopsie daisy, his ihram is stuck in the crowd, and especially if he has not tightened it properly. But those people who are doing tawaf politely, they don't get into this fight of the crowds, they are okay, inshallah. These people, I mean, when they go into that Hajj al-Aswad and the tight areas, and when there's too crowded people, and then they push themselves inside that, and obviously people, they squeeze, and then the ihram is grabbed by other people's body. So what happened? The guy is trying to pull himself out like bananas peel. So the banana comes out, but the peel is remaining there. So this is kind of thing that the guy comes out, and he even doesn't feel that he, because we, one of our colleagues, he came out from there. We told him, don't go there. Don't do that. He came out from there and there was nothing. So quickly, one of our fellows, they took that upper piece and covered him. Not take the below piece, just take the upper piece. So no, I'll sacrifice. Take my bottom piece. I can't take the upper piece because you lost bottom piece. Let me give me my bottom piece. No, just take off upper piece and just cover him. You don't have to take your bottom piece and do that kind of weird sacrifice. So anyhow, so they took off the upper piece and gave it to this poor Sayyid guy. I mean, he was very weak and fragile. So obviously, he did not go into too much into that crowd, but he was very close to that area, and he was gripped by the crowd. You see that the crowd is coming out and going in with that Hajar Aswad area. You could feel that the push is coming and then push is going in, and he was walking and he got grabbed with the push going in. So you have to be careful about that. Anyhow, so, so remember in Salat, if somebody discloses his private Salah becomes invalid in certain conditions mentioned there in the Tawdih al-Masail or Book of Law of Sayyid Sistani Damadullah. However, because we said that there is a hadith where that the Salat, the rules of Salat are like rules of Tawaf are like rules of Salah, as-Salatu kat-Tawaf. But there are, as we mentioned, exceptional cases, and Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah uses a lot of precautionary measures there. So it's not so exactly that the Tawaf and Salat are exactly the same thing. So what is the situation here for Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah when he says that Tawaf, so is it like Salat is he did not do intentionally, unintentionally his private got disclosed. If somebody was performing the tawaf and his ihram, lower piece of ihram got dropped, and his private got disclosed, does his tawaf become invalid? He says no, his tawaf will not become invalid. You see, unlike salat, his tawaf will not become invalid even though it has been resembled with salat. Okay, so even though it's recommended precaution to redo it. And then question number 3: هل أن ستر المرأة في الطواف يختلف عن سترها في الصلاة? Now women, they have to cover their body in Salah, they have to cover their body in Hajj. However, there are a few differences. So the question is the covering of the body in Tawaf different than the covering of her body in Salah? So the answer is يختلف عنه في الجملة. In general, there are a few variances, not too many. When he says in jumla, that means in lump sum, over and all, there are a few differences. So, for example, فإن الإخلال بالستر بعض ما يعتبر ستره في الصلاة كشيء من الشعر أو العضد أو الساق لا يخل بصحة طواف على الأظهر. So there are things, if it happens in Salat, it will invalidate the salat of a woman. But in tawaf, it will not invalidate it. Al-Azhar, most apparently. That means there's a difference between Sayyidi Sistani and other maraja. So if you're not following Sayyidi Sistani Damadullah, please check your marja. Okay? Al-Azhar. This Azhar, that means there's a qawlun zahir. Qawlun zahir says, yes, it becomes invalid. But Sayyidi Sistani says, so most apparently from the narrations, from the evidences, the apparent from the narration is not, it becomes invalid. On the contrary, most apparent to me is it does not become invalid. Al-Adhar. So what are these? Like, for example, if there was a kind of, therefore, if there was any problem in covering, okay, some parts of whatever is some problem in covering in tawaf of some of the parts which are necessary to be covered in salat. In salat, it will invalidate the salat. فإن الإخلال بستر بعض ما يعتبر ستره. Therefore, disclosing some of those concealed some of those parts which are required to be concealed in salat, if they're disclosed in the tawaf, okay, such as what? Such as some of the hair or part of the wrist or this bone. Okay, I got humerus bone and humerus, anyhow, the bone of the wrist, I'll say. Okay, you can check it out in English. What do they exactly call? I forgot about it. So if this got like uncovered, but she has to cover until here, you see. but it got uncovered like that. Uh, Hair, a few hair came out, or the ankle. So the stem, the leg came out. I mean, the little bit of this and little bit of. So these are not permissible in salat. In salat, they cause invalidation of salat. But here, say the Sistan says it will not cause the. It will not affect the validity of the tawaf. Most apparently, even though it's recommended for her to observe the limits of covering in the salat, in the entire limits of covering in the salat. So whatever she covers in the salat, she needs to observe here. But in salat, but here the things comes out, it will invalidate. But here it will not invalidate, but is recommended precaution to observe those. Okay, that is about the body. What about the face? The face is a big issue. Okay, in normal cases, uh, she can cover her face. It's an option for women if they want to cover their face. We can't say no. In Islam, gives freedom for women to cover or not to cover her face. It's not wajib to cover her face according to the majority of the fuqaha. On the top of them is Sayyid Sistani. Yes, it's recommended. But yes, if there is a beautification and the paint job done on the face, then obviously it becomes obligatory to cover. However, let's see. So what about the face? We discussed this about the face, and to Sayyid Sistani, let me remind you about the concept Sayyid Sistani has. You see, Sayyidi Sistani says that if a woman, she wants to cover her face from men, she cannot use a separate cloth like veil, like burqa, like niqab, like this kind of half. No, she cannot cover her face with those. Those are separate cover. So how can she cover? We said she can pull her dress, the dress abba which she's wearing, she can pull it down. I explained to you. We kindly go back to the video. Or she can do like this also. Okay. So this is her dress, not a separate object. So she can do like this. She can see through. I can see through. Okay. It's not blocking my face because it's a kind of see-through cloth. So her dress, she can bring her dress down. She can bring it like this. Okay, but not a separate niqab. Okay, because there are women, they like to cover their face and they are respected. Okay, we need to appreciate. If we are living in the Western society, we are respecting every woman, regardless of their discovering of the body and disclosing of the body. Then why shouldn't we respect the women who are desiring to wear veil and niqab and these kind of things? That is the double standard of many of the countries of the Western society. You see this double standard. That means Islam gives more freedom, respects more freedom. So Muslims, they respect every non-Muslim woman, the way they do the paint job and the way they wear their dress. They disagree. We disagree with the way they wear, but we respect them. So why can't a Muslim woman be respected in the way she chooses her choice to wear the way she wants to wear? Okay, there should be one standard of respect. Respect this woman, respect that woman, respect who wants to cover, respect. If you want to respect the one who's not covering properly, respect the one who's covering properly according to Islamic criteria. Okay, so different communities have different criteria. So we are talking about Islamic criteria for Muslim. So, so if Muslims, they can respect with the differences and with the disagreement, the way with the non-Muslim women. So why can't non-Muslim communities, they respect the Muslim women, the choice of a Muslim woman? And that's where the freedom of choice or freedom of religion becomes strange, when the countries, they claim, some of the countries, and then they ban the woman from practicing the freedom of their choice in their religious attire and religious dress. That becomes a bit weird and strange, and indicates certain double standards. Anyhow, that's in general we are saying. We're not pointing at any specific country or place, but those countries, yes, if they are, this applies to them, then it applies to them. Okay. وإن كان الأحوط لها. Yeah, so what about the face? So we know the rule of Sayyidi Sistani, same dress can be used to cover, not a separate. So on the basis of obligatory precaution, she should not cover her face during the tawaf with the burqa or niqab. Okay, we said one is that covers the whole face, one is that covers the until the nose and the eyes are out. أو نحوها, or anything similar to it. وإن كانت محلة, even she is not in the state of ihram. This doesn't have anything to do with ihram. It has to do with tawaf. So how can she be not in the state of ihram and do the tawaf? After manasik al-hajj, after in Mina, she cut a little bit of her hair, taqsir. She exited the state of ihram. So now she's not in the state of ihram except for tawaf al-hajj and tawaf al-nisa. Okay, tawaf al-hajj, sa'i, tawaf al-nisa, and their salat. So she is going to be in a normal condition. So she is partially in the state of ihram and she has exited the state of ihram for majority of the things prohibited upon her. So وَإِن كَانَتْ مُحِلَّةً, even though if she was in the state of not in the state of ihram, but this is the condition of tawaf, such as when Sayyidina كما في طواف الحج, such as in the tawaf of the Hajj, after she has performed the a'mal of Mina on the day of Eid. Yes, it is permissible for her. Okay, so what if she wants to cover her face? It is permissible for her to cover her face from a foreign man, okay, foreign man or from foreign men by dragging her dress down on her face. So dragging بإسدال ثوبها. So as I said, bring her dress, not extra thing, not addition thing. The dress, same dress, she can use it to cover. Okay. What about question number 4? Is it obligatory upon a woman to cover her feet? Okay, during the tawaf. Uh, لا يعتبر صحة الطواف. لا يعتبر في صحة الطواف. No need. Her feet doesn't need. She doesn't need to wear socks. However, it is obligatory upon her to cover her feet for the sake of the hijab from the foreign men, the men which are not mahram to her. Okay, so from non-mahram she has to cover and it's packed with mahram. Let's say hypothetically, if no men were there, it was like the day they prohibited every single man to enter, even the police, everyone. So it was all packed with women. And they were doing the tawaf, and no one could see their feet, even from the top floors, because they are packed with their black dress and white dress, and they're covered. Their feet are covered. In that case, she doesn't have to cover her feet because the covering of the feet is obligatory in front of men, but not a condition for tawaf. In tawaf, she can expose her feet. So, however, this is the thing that yes, another way there are men there. However, in most of the time, especially if you're in a crowded place, nobody will look at the feet of the woman and go. But it's better. It's precautionary measure just to cover the feet. Okay, somebody might gaze on the foot. So what will you do? Yeah. So لا يعتبر في صحة الطواف. It is not required in the validity of the tawaf. نعم. Yeah, however, it is obligatory because it is part of the covering in front of foreign or non-mahram men. So let's say if she does not cover, so what will happen? Her tawaf will be correct, but she will be committing a prohibited act, forbidden act, because the tawaf is in front of men. So question number 5. لو طافت المرأة وهي مكشوفة الذراعين أو مكشوفة الشعر جهلا أو عمدا فهل يضر ذلك بصحة طوافها. If a woman she performs her tawaf and her arms were disclosed, not covered, or her hair was disclosed, all this regardless, either unintentionally or intentionally, does it affect the validity of her tawaf? The answer, yes, on the basis of obligatory precaution. But in the previous ruling, he said it's okay. Yeah, it's okay if not the entire arm, some of the arm got disclosed. Okay, some of the hair. Here, the question is the hair. The question is dhira'ain, both arms, like the whole bulky things are out now, not small portion. So yes, obviously, and on the basis of obligatory precaution, even in the case of the ignorance. Here is clarifies مع استيعاب الكشف لمعظم الذراعين. When the disclose is to most of the both arms. This was before ruling was a little bit off, but this is all the way from here to here. Both arms are disclosed, or most of the both arms, like so. Yeah, so it says أو كثير من شعر الرأس, or plenty of the hair of the head. Okay, so it's not little bit. Previously that was a little bit came out, a little bit of wrist and this, but here we are talking about a good chunk of the things being disclosed. So yes, on the basis of obligatory precaution, the tawaf will become invalid. That means either she referred to another marja to consider it valid, or she needs to redo the tawaf. Question number 6. إذا انكشف شيء من بدن المرأة الواجب ستره. If some of the part of the body which is required to be covered for a woman got disclosed. Okay. That means revealed. So how during the tawaf, either uh, forcefully, okay, or accidentally. Because sometimes the dragging happens, that guy's ihram fell down. So now hijab also, when they go into the squeezy area, the guy dragging here, the lady is dragging. So all the hijab becomes pulled out, and many times you'll see during the tawaf, some women, their hair are dangling out. Why? Because and they're sweating, and like they have just had a fist fight with some other woman or something like that, and they're coming out of a war zone. So uh, I'm breathing like, Baba, why, what told you to go inside that squeezy crowd, and people are squeezing and touching your body, and this and that is what's this? There's two strange things are happening. But as I said, may Allah forgive everybody, and these are guests of Allah. We pray that they all do it the way Allah wants it, not the way they just feel that they have a fist fight to go inside the Hajj al-Aswad, and go into the war zone and come out, and the hijab is up and down, and then and that guy lost his down area of the ihram. So yes, إذا انكشف شيء من بدن yeah, we said this. So either it was forcefully revealed without her option قهرا, أو سهوا, أو unintentionally. She forgot about it. Okay. وطافت جزءا من شوط, and she did the tawa after being disclosed, after being revealed. She performed part of the tawaf, or entire tawaf, or more than one tawaf. So will her tawaf become invalid? He says she was forced, she did not do it intentionally, or it got disclosed and she forgot about it. So there was no intentional. It was forcefully. She was like forced, under pressure. Okay. Um, Involuntarily. Uh, he says it does not invalidate it. It does not invalidate it. Why? Because the question is, إذا انكشف شيء من بدن. some part of the body of a woman, not that arms, most of the arms and the hair came out and the scarf was pulled, and she had like tightened her hair properly, but once the scarf got, all the hair came out and something like that. You say like she was shocked by electricity or something like that. Anyhow, so therefore, um, the thing is here that the tawaf will not become invalid. Why? Because it's shay, so a part of her body, okay, which is required to be covered. No, so it does not invalidate it, even though it's recommended precaution to complete the tawaf and redo one in a proper condition. Um, Question number 7. إذا ظهر بعض again, some of, it's a repeated question. Some of the hair came out or something like that during the tawaf, out of heedlessness. Obviously, the tawaf is valid and is not affected because it's some of the beauty of the woman, like, which is supposed to be covered. Question number 8. إذا طافت المرأة, again, if a woman was performing tawaf and some hair came out from under her scarf, and the face, or the covering of the face was light, um, in a way that it would reveal whatever is in behind the face. أو كان غطاء وجهها. Obviously, the face is not to be even covered, but yeah, maybe they are asking that there was a face cover, but it was very thin in a way that the face is almost disclosed behind that veil. So obviously, he said it does not affect on the validity of her tawaf, because first of all, the face needs to be out, and almost it's a very thin cloth and her face is out almost, and some part of the hair, some came out. So we said it is not going to affect her tawaf. Question number 9. What about a discerning girl? She has not reached the age of puberty and she's performing the tawaf. What is her limits? So well, it's a discerning girl. That means the girl who has reached the age of this discerning, so طفلة المميزة. That means she can distinguish between good and bad and all those kind of things which are known by adult child. So الأحوط أن تراعي الستر الصلاتي, on the basis of obligatory precaution. She needs to observe whatever is observed. She needs to observe the covering that is observed in the salat. So she covers the whole body except for the head uh, and the neck and the two hands, okay, palms, and the feet, both feet. So ras, head, because she's not baligh, she doesn't have to cover her head. Okay. So ma'ada, except for the head and the neck. تراعي ستر الصلاة. فتستر, she covers everything except for the head and the neck. She's not baligh. And so she reveals the head, she reveals the neck. This is the base obligation, but if you want to cover, she can cover. You're most welcome to. It's not that it's haram for her to cover her face and head and neck. No. So the head and neck can be revealed, and the two palms, okay, hands, and then the 2 feet, both feet, both hands and both feet, both like palms and both feet. Question number 10. So question number 10, they're asking about the obligatory precaution. Okay, to obligatory precaution to cover the face. I mean, what is covered in the face? So the question is, It's divided into three sections: A, B, C. So A uh, is the precautionary measure used in preventing the face of a woman to be covered during the tawaf. Even she was in the state of ihlal. Remember, after Mina. يشمل الذقن, the chin. So the question is that, can she like be like this in her cover, or she has to cover her chin? So most of the women you can see in Salah, they cover the chin. So if she discloses her chin, will that be okay? هل الاحتياط في ترك ستر الوجه, the obligatory precaution is said that obligatory precaution, one should avoid covering the face. So is chin considered face, okay, part of the face, um, or not? So he says that the answer is لا يبعد عدم وجوب كشفه. So she cannot cover it. She needs to disclose it because chin is part of the face. So the chin needs to be covered because most of the women, they cover like this. So he says that it is it should be it should be disclosed. لا يبعد. No, sorry, it's not. لا يبعد عدم وجوب كشفه. That means it is not wajib to disclose it. It is not obligatory to disclose it. That means she can cover it during the tawaf. Okay. So in salat, she covers based on the muqaddimah al-ilmiya, or precautionary measure, extra part of the face. What if she wants to cover the chin in the tawaf? He says it's not obligatory to reveal the chin. Face needs to be revealed, but the chin, no. If it's covered, that's fine, as long as majority of the face is out. So he says لا يبعد عدم وجوب كشفه. The obligation, it is not obligatory to لا يبعد عدم وجوب كشفه. It is not obligatory to reveal it. Reveal it. عدم وجوب كشفه. عدم وجوب, not obligatory, to كشفه, to disclose it. So it's not wajib to, she can keep it covered. So the B of this question, will is it required? Okay, revealing the chin, is it required for the validity of the tawaf? والاحتياط في ترك المرأة حال الطواف وإن كانت محلة يشمل الذقن. So this is the question of حال الطواف, during the tawaf. Then he says that وهل ذلك معتبر في صحة الطواف? If she covers her chin, نعم عدم ستر الوجه. I don't see the consistency of the questions here. نعم عدم ستر الوجه معتبر في الصحة للأحوط. The question is about chin, and he says yes, on the basis of obligatory precaution, it is required not to cover the face. Yes, on the basis of obligatory precaution, the validity of the tawaf requires disclosing the face, okay, revealing the face. So validity of the tawaf. But the question is now about the chin, not the tawaf. We know, khalas, we know the face now. Is so if لا يبعد عدم وجوب كشفه, okay, it is not wajib to disclose it during the tawaf. So the question is this disclose, if she if she covers is it going to affect the validity of the tawaf? So B, the وهل ذلك معتبر في صحة الطواف? If it is not wajib to cover during the tawaf, disclose during the tawaf the chin, obviously the tawaf is valid because it's not prohibited. So then the question is about chin, and the answer has come about the face. Obviously, the face, it's obligatory precaution not to cover during the tawaf. And if she had to cover, she brings her dress on her face. So this is the issue here. Okay, the question is talking about chin, and the answer is talking about the face. The issue is disclosing. So he said it's not wajib to cover the chin, to reveal the chin or disclose the chin. So that means if she discloses the chin, then it's tawaf is okay. Why? Remember, the chin is part, even if it was obligatory, it's like part of the face and not the entire face. And we said part of the hand, part of the hair, those kind of things are forgiven. So the question and answer, there's a bit inconsistency here. Okay, وهل يبطل مع الجهل بالحكم? So let's say now again, I think the question has been changed to the face, or not to the small parts, because the small parts, okay, the okay, small parts. We said it doesn't affect in the validity of the. So now this Gene C is connected to the B. نعم عدم ستر الوجه talks about the face on the base of legal precaution. So let's say if the question number G is it is how if she revealed it, how she covered it unintentionally out of unawareness. وهل يبطل الطواف? Does the tawaf become invalid due to the unawareness of the ruling about the disclosing of the face? He says that لا يبطل مع الجهل القصوري. If somebody had unintentional ignorance, it does not become invalid. So they don't know that they need to cover the face. So now the question started as chin, and then the section B and C, it talks about the whole face. So it can be made a separate question rather than confusion happens that okay, it's valid and then it's invalid. So it's invalid to cover the whole face, not a part of the face. He already said that is it's not necessary to reveal the chin. The face must be revealed. The chin, let's say if the chin was considered part of the face, but it's small part of the face, okay, which is ignorable, okay, negligible. You don't feel be get accountable on that. Okay, question number 11. فرقتم في جملة من مسائل الطواف والسعي بين الجاهل القاصر والمقصر. He says you distinguished in certain masail, certain rulings of tawaf and sa'i between an intentional ignorant and unintentional ignorant. So if someone believes opposite of what he's supposed to do, he has belief out of ignorance, out of unawareness. He believes that or she believes that she must cover the face because it's hijab. Okay, such as many people, and yeah, this is a fact. Many times people they say, "Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that." Baba, you don't have to. From where? Because there are people they give manasik Hajj classes, and they're not aware about the updates and the rulings which are being developed and being updated on the website of the Sayyid Sistani Dama Dhillo. and they just carry on because every year the guide needs to go through the masail before he goes to Hajj and takes the caravan. So he says somebody believed opposite of what he's supposed to do, such as what is uh, what is observed in many people. جاهلا قاصرا في مطلق الأحوال. Is this aqidah? Is this he believes opposite? Is it considered unintentional ignorance or intentional ignorant? Okay, that's the question. And we mentioned the difference between intentional, intentional. Intentional, he doubts, he can ask, he doesn't ask. Unintentional, he never comes in his mind that it could be a mistake. Possibility of error doesn't come in his mind, or comes in his mind, but he doesn't have anybody to ask. Okay. So the answer, he would be considered intentional. He would be considered unintentional, ignorant or unaware, unintentionally unaware, if he tried his best in achieving the prerequisites to have the certainty about the opposite. That means he doubted, he believed something, but then he did not try to find out whether his belief is right or not. Okay. He believed that he can leave a gap more than 10 minutes between tawaf and salat of tawaf. He believed, but then he did not try to confirm his belief. Okay. He thought, belief means thought as well, but he did not try to confirm the opposite is wrong and he is right. So he did not try to seek clarity by uh, by 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 engaging in the prerequisites of knowing the opposite. So he did not. If he did, then he is unintentional ignorant. If he did not, he's intentional ignorant. كمن لا يتعلم فيؤدي به إلى الاعتقاد بما هو خلاف الواقع. Such as a person does not learn, and that leads to forming a belief, okay, or a perception which is against the reality. So he did not try to seek the clarity about. He did not learn, and he just gained this wrong perception about something to do, and which is against the real ruling. كمن لا يتعلم, such as somebody does not learn. فيؤدي ذلك, and that leads to what? The إلى الاعتقاد بما هو خلاف الواقع, to have a belief in something which is against the reality. Yeah, so this is just a question about who's considered qasir and muqassir, okay, and having a wrong belief. So he says if his belief was based on gaining the prerequisite, he asked the scholars, and the scholars, they gave him wrong information. What could he do? That means he did his best to find out, and he ended up into doing error. So that is jahil, which is considered qasir, muqassir. Okay. So there's يعد قاصرا في إذا لم يقصر في حصول الجزم. If he did not try to his qasir. أما مقصر لا, the one which he tried but he could not find out the he did not he didn't he tried his best, but he could not find out the answer, or to know that he is against what is supposed to be done. Anyhow, question number 12. So the question number 12 says that one of the believer women, she performed the tawaf wearing a mask. Why? in fear of spreading the disease because she was infected with COVID, okay, with COVID virus. So, will her tawaf be correct? And is there any penalty upon her for covering her face? So obviously, we said for these kind of reasons, there's no penalty, nothing. It's just a medical condition. He says her tawaf is correct, and there's no penalty on her. Finally, the last question you mentioned it is obligatory precaution for a woman to cover to not to cover her face with niqab or burqa or anything similar to it during the tawaf. So how what will be the ruling of a woman who unintentionally or out of forgetfulness she covered with a veil? See, he allows the same dress which you are wearing to cover with it, but doesn't allow a separate piece of burqa or veil or niqab. Separate thing, no. A lady, she did it out of ignorance, not knowing the rule, or out of forgetfulness. Okay, so so what will be her ruling? And is the ruling different from the recommended tawaf? That means the tawaf is there any difference between the obligatory tawaf and the recommended tawaf? He said that again, the type of ignorance. What is the type of ignorance she has? Okay, if she's muqassir, that means unintentional ignorance or unintentional awareness or a unintentional forgetfulness. Um, uh, so, in such cases, unintentional awareness, unawareness, unintentional unawareness. That means she was ignorant unintentionally. She tried her best, but she couldn't find the answer, or it did not encounter in her mind that she was doing something wrong, or out of forgetfulness. In both cases, tawaf will not be invalid. However, it is going to be problematic. That means obligatory precaution. ويشكل, whenever it says ishkal, obligatory precaution. ويشكل مع الجهل التقصيري. However, on the basis of obligatory precaution, it will become invalid if her ignorance was intentional. That means she had opportunity to learn and she did not learn, and it came in her mind, the doubt encountered, she did not clarify. So she was negligence about clarification, about knowing. So he says that that's the difference, the intentional and unintentional. What about recommended tawaf? Is there any difference between obligatory tawaf and recommended? He says there is no difference between obligatory tawaf and recommended tawaf on the basis of obligatory precaution. That means in both cases, if it was unintentional ignorance or forgetfulness, she doesn't have to do anything. If it is intentional ignorance and negligence of knowing the rule, then it becomes invalid. And that is all for today. Inshallah, the next chapter is lengthy and it is about wajibat ut-tawaf. Wajib, there are about 56 questions. And that's the lengthiest at this point. And then we are going to come back to the short sessions. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.